All right, and we are live. Let's make sure it's going out okay on the old YouTubes here. Bechtloff in the morning. All right, so now we got a couple people in the chat already here at this ungodly hour of the morning. Somebody says Bechtloff in the morning. Another person says, except without all that pesky Bechtloff, apparently. Yeah, I was a little late to start up. Turn off that pesky Bechtloff. And somebody else says, we can do the show without him. Star Wars is gay because I don't like it. Star Wars is bad for a lot of reasons, says someone else. Yes, Star Wars is bad. And you should feel bad for liking it. Yeah, the original 3 movies are good. They're a little overrated, but they're good. A lot of the expanded universe stuff, I can see why people like it. But, as a movie series, it really hasn't had a good one since 1983. The year I was born, and I'm getting old. Somebody says, and Catholics are bad. Yes, Catholics are also bad. Well, Catholicism is bad. Not all Catholics are bad. Hashtag not all Catholics. I have a Rooney on here a lot. He's an okay fella. Let's see. The prequels were better than the originals. I don't know if you're trolling there or not. If I actually gave a shit about Star Wars, it might have kind of pissed me off. Oh yeah, I don't know where you're going with that. Yeah, I don't think I can agree with you there. Pardon me. I am still getting over a bit of a cold. It is stuck with me a lot longer than it should have. I think it's just this weather, this ridiculous frozen tundra weather. I can't stand this kind of winter. Though you got to give Trump credit. I mean, apparently he hasn't even been office, a full year now, and he's already kicked the shit out of global warming, hasn't he? So, yeah, this weather is brutal. The past few years, I don't know, past couple years, maybe going back to like 2010, winters have just been ugly. It seemed like when I was a kid, winters weren't that bad. Now, granted, I lived a little further south than I do now. I lived in southern Maryland as opposed to southern PA. But that's not that far down. It's not like, I moved from the tundra. It's not like I moved from the tropics up to the tundra when I was a teenager, And even as a teenager, like the winters weren't this bad. When I was a kid, you'd see in like cartoons and shit, like people ice skating on ponds, but that was like a myth. Like sometimes there was ice on the ponds, never thick enough to support someone's weight, even a little kid. Because it was very rarely below freezing, let alone a fucking week of being like 3 degrees. Here these past couple days, it's warmed all the way up to being in the 20s. Which relative to what it was, feels like fucking pool weather. Like I should be outside in shorts eating ice cream. I hate that. This whole week I've been like, I should move to Vegas or something. I mean, I know a few people down there. Yeah. Maybe I can get the hook up on a cheap place, a good job or something down there. The cost of living isn't too bad down there. I mean, as long as you're avoiding drinking and gambling, supposedly the cost of living in Vegas, and you're not like living downtown on the strip or some shit. Cost of living is supposedly pretty good down there, pretty cheap. But yeah, these winters suck. Global warming my ass. Somebody says move to Phoenix and hang out with Razor Fist. I think Artistic Layman's living out in Arizona now. I know he fled California. He fled it. Anti-Dem fled it. We just got to get Common Filth out of there. and then then God can rain fire and brimstone down on that whole state. I mean, half the state's on fire as is. So. Let's see. Going through the chat here. You see Medicare's final destruction of Crown T. Poor guy cut off his own dick in more ways than one. Yes, I did watch that video. And granted, I had never heard of Crown T before this mess because I really don't follow the skeptic community because, like, holy shit, dude. I mean, that's stuff I outgrew when I was like 17. Okay, you know, I outgrew the Richard Dawkins section of the bookstore when I was like 17. These people, not so much. It was funny though. I wish I had Luke here. Richard Spencer. I'm sorry. It's Richard Spencer. As the folks like to say, the young people like to say, meaning Matt Forney. But he had that debate with Sargon Soygoy of God, and I don't know, somebody else. Apparently, fucking Kevin Logan, good old Kurt Logan, hopped in on the whole thing too. Well, afterwards, Richard Spencer posts this picture of himself in this faggy ass Tribly. And he's like, now that we've destroyed the skeptic community, we could say it's safe to wear fedoras again, make fedoras great again. It's like destroyed the skeptic community. Richard, your only disagreement with the skeptic community is on ethno-nationalism. For fuck's sake, you're all about that. Weren't you in that? Somebody said he was in that stream talking about how like Christianity was just pagan mythology adopted by Jews or something, and Christ never existed or some shit like that. Like Richard Spencer will destroy the skeptic community in the same way he wants to destroy liberalism, in that replace it with something completely identical, except it doesn't like blacks. I mean, for fuck's sake, weren't the two alt-right guys in there fucking Richard Spencer and Millennial Woes or something? Wasn't that the two in there? Fucking white bathhouse nationalism. Represent, folks. Pardon me. John Steele says Dawkins has written some good stuff on evolution. He has actually. I think it was him. Didn't he write The Blind Watchmaker? I actually did read that in high school, and that's a pretty decent book. I mean, it makes a lot of assumptions. You know, evolution is a thing, ergo God don't real. That I think that's a bit of a leap there, Richie. But by and large, a really interesting explanation of the evolutionary process, the evolutionary model. Let's see. So he says, don't move too far south. Native Louisiana guy here. You'll be swapping your bitching about the winter for bitching about the summer. The fucking mosquitoes here are asinine. Well, I don't think there's that kind of a problem in Vegas. I mean, let's see. Can you do a dramatic reading of Lauren Southern's book, please? I no longer own Lauren Southern's book. I have. See, you can't throw out Lauren Southern's book. You have to trick someone into taking it. That's the curse. I tried multiple times to throw it out, and it would just appear back on my desk. I burned it once, and it just appeared back on my desk. That's how Lauren Southern's book works. You have to trick someone into taking it, and thankfully, Aaron took it off my hands. Aaron Clary took it off my hands. He's supposed to be doing a review of it, so I shipped it out to him. I don't own it anymore. I no longer does her pathetic little pamphlet sit on my desk. Let's see. Why don't these scientists think that maybe God made us through evolution, created the universe through the Big Bang, or well, see, that's the thing. All the naturalistic theories, you know, the evolutionary model, you know, like the nebula theory on how solar systems form, which, I mean, I was in high school 15 years ago, so maybe my earth science class is outdated now. I don't fucking know, but that's what I understood, that nebulas eventually collapse into solar systems. You know, the Big Bang, all these naturalistic theories only attempt to explain why things are in their current form. None of them attempt to explain why there is something instead of nothing. And ultimately, all of them only kick the can down the curb as for the question of why is there something instead of nothing. Let's see. Somebody says Lauren sucks a good dick, and then right under it, somebody says I don't think she swallows. That's a deal breaker. Well, some chicks don't, but you can always spray it on their face. I don't know. Let's see. Somebody says Return of Kings is too depressing to read nowadays. I haven't really. I mean, I get linked to some Return of Kings articles and all, but I don't really go to it regularly. I just check out random articles people have linked me. I wouldn't say it's depressing, but again, I might not be reading the same articles you are. Uh, Somebody says I tried to fuck Lauren Southern, but the Libertarian Party beat me to it. Um, let's see. When I was in high school, Pluto was a planet. Press F for Pluto. John Steele says, but why Christianity? Well, that's a different question. But see, and this is kind of the weird thing about the skeptic debate. It's almost, I mean, yes, I am obviously a Christian, so that's kind of my axe to grind. But even in my most, agnostic days, I never thought that it boiled down to atheism versus Christianity. Like I mean, in my most agnostic days, I was probably what you'd call kind of a deist. Um, I just always assumed there was a God of some sort. It just seemed almost self-evident. Um, but yeah, I don't understand why the debate always seems to boil down to, atheism versus just Christianity, and often, it's almost like atheism versus literal creationism seems to be the exact divide. And let's see. This is for Luke. Well, Luke's not here, so I can't really. I mean, yeah, Luke's not here. So check to see if he popped in while I wasn't looking. Let's see. John Steele says all cultures require a religion/myth to survive. Well, that's true, but I mean, if you're taking a step back and just pondering what is true, not necessarily what might even be best for your culture, but just what's true. But yeah, there's a lot more lines of thinking than just atheism versus Christianity. Somebody says I was a hardcore atheist 2 to 3 years ago. Thankfully, I grew out of that. I am an adult now. I don't really. And you'd think if you would be an atheist, you'd be more like Aaron Clary, where you just don't give a shit about talking about religion. You just want to live your life. I think he's a bit more of an agnostic. But again, I say I think because he never shoves it in anyone's face, really. Sometimes he rolls his eyes at religious talk, but by and large, he just, he's not proselytizing atheism. Let's see. Going to the chat here. I'm hoping in the next couple weeks I'm able to get my schedule under control. Currently, my current work situation, I have, I wouldn't even say I have a bad schedule. I have basically no schedule, and so yeah, I'm hoping I get that under control. Maybe we can go back to the big weekly show or get guests and stuff like that. Like I didn't watch the big debate between changing subject slightly. I didn't watch the big debate between I don't know, the Sargon and Richard Spencer and everybody else who was in that. I don't know. I think like I said, I think Millennial Woes was in there. I think Kurt Logan hopped in at one point. Styx Hot Topic was in there at some point, I think. Um, so yeah, I didn't really watch it, and to be honest, I don't think I'm gonna like not in its entirety. I don't want to. I don't know how else to put it. Yeah, I don't really want to. Like, I don't give much of a shit. I certainly don't give a shit what Sargon thinks on anything. I don't think, aside from LOL, feminists are dumb. I don't think he's ever really added anything. Um, yeah, I don't have any real high opinion on Sargon. Soy Goya Todd. Um, and Richard Spencer, I don't, Woes, I don't know much about. Um, I don't have necessarily the highest opinion on him, but I don't know a tremendous amount about him. But Richard Spencer, I think, is just shit. Um, and then they're sort of like dicking around. Like parts of it I saw, they're sort of dicking around. Like basically, like Sargon's trying to make like, okay, so if you have an ethno state, like, what about somebody who's one great granddaddy was black or something like that? You know, who qualifies? Where's the cutoff, as it were? And they're sitting there, they're jerking off about this question forever. When really the answer should be like, well, look, you have to have a cutoff somewhere. No matter where the cutoff is, some people aren't going to be happy with it. I would, and then maybe like 90% is your cutoff. I don't know. Um, but that's just the answer to the question, you know. But no, everyone's just kind of jerking around about it. And I really hate that argument. Look, part of the reason I'm not absolutist on race is because the lines between races are by nature blurry. If you think of maybe a color wheel, right? You look at a color wheel and you'd be hard pressed to say, well, where exactly does red stop on this bleeding color wheel on either side? Well, it might be hard to know exactly where it stops, but that doesn't mean red isn't a thing. Pardon me. Somebody says a Bechtloff morning show. It's a good way to start the day. Well, it's better than Glenn Beck. I think Glenn Beck starts in like an hour here on the East Coast. So somebody says Sargon versus Spencer in MMA cage match. Who would win? I guess Spencer would win. I don't know. You know, I mean, like I mean, Spencer's obviously in better shape. I mean, neither one of them seem to have any fight in them. But somebody says, Chris, can we get traffic updates? Yeah, traffic, it sucks. Somebody says Sargon would win because Spencer would prefer to get punched. Fights of two wet noodles. Yeah, I don't. I mean, obviously, strength is a pretty deciding factor in a physical fight, but there is the element of not the size of the dog in a fight, but the fight in the dog kind of thing. I mean, like I remember a while ago when TJ, the anal atheist was talking about how he wanted to fight Aaron Clary because Aaron said something TJ didn't like. So he was like, I'm gonna beat that guy up. It's like, look, I mean, I've seen Aaron Clary bounce up a fucking mountain like goddamn Spider-Man. All right. Yeah, Aaron Clary might be like 3 feet tall, all right. But I can't imagine fucking anal atheist could whoop his ass. Um, Bulbasaur in the helicopter streaming live traffic, all while throwing commies out. You got to make sure you don't throw them onto the road, though. You don't want to mess traffic up further. You got to get the empty fields beside the road. So you got to make sure the wind's not blowing too hard or something. You know, you don't want to make traffic worse. So it says DJ Cook versus Boogie. I mean, I guess the anal atheist would win that one, but this is a weird line of questions. So he says Thunderfoot versus Vox Day. Oh, Vox Day, definitely. Vox is in pretty damn good shape, from what I understand. He's always been very athletic, and I think he's got a considerably more vicious streak in him than Thunderfoot. Thunderfoot's got like a bitchy kind of meanness to him, but Vox Day's got he's got some viciousness in him. So he says Link getting his rain updates as he struggles to climb up mountains. Oh, the rain in that game. Oh, drive you nuts. Somebody says Cantwell update. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Cant. I mean, he's on Gab a lot. I see him on Gab a lot. He seems all right. I know he's got a trial coming up, but somebody says Pastor Tom versus Luke. I don't know. I mean, Luke's like 8 feet tall. If you've ever seen him, looks like a much nicer, more personable version of Lurch from the Addams Family. That's how tall and monstrous that guy is. Like, I mean, I wouldn't want to fight Luke. I'll be honest with you. Kojima versus DSP. Does DSP fear the samurai? So he says freedom of religion only for Christians discuss. Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's inherently a Christian concept, and I don't think it'll ever be something that thrives in it, something that isn't a Christian nation. But I mean, it's basically something where all the different sects of Christianity decided to stop trying to kill each other, and out of a Christian sense of charity, it saw fit to extend that to other faiths. I don't know why, but in the winter, I usually have a hankering for 7-Up. Not really sure why. Cherry 7-Up especially. That's like a Christmas drink to me for some reason. I guess it just was always served at like family gatherings or something when I was a kid, but it's just Cherry 7-Up is something I always kind of associate with the holidays. You can't really find them in like little bottles or little cans or anything. You usually got to get 2 liters of those. And I don't like getting 2 liters of soda because that's just encouraging you to drink way fucking too much soda. Because either you drink it all way too fast or you try and make it last, in which case by the end of it, it's all flat. But yeah, I don't know why. In the winter, I just get a hankering for 7-Up in general. Looks like the chat kind of died down there. Oh, what the hell else happened this past few days? So I was playing Breath of the Wild last night, and I've finally reached a point where it's like, because I've got like probably 24 fucking shrines activated, and I need to just go through and complete them because I'm still at only 4 hearts. And there are certain areas where it's like I just can't go there. There's these like ghosts, I guess, that like if they see you, they'll shoot fireballs, but they're like prancing around in midair like faggots up until they see you, and they can go invisible and shit like that. They're pains in the ass. And when you only have 4 hearts, you can't deal with them. And like I saw this one tower where there's a whole bunch of them around it. Um, and I'm like, I can't get anywhere near that. But yeah, I got to upgrade the hearts. I got to is because I get so excited exploring that like I never bothered to actually do the fucking little puzzle dungeons to increase my hearts. Somebody says those are the whiz robes, Bechtloff. Oh, is that what the hell they are? Oh, yeah, that I guess that makes sense. They're pains in the asses, I can tell you that much. I wonder if you can get a magic wand when you kill one of them. Like that'd be worth trying to take one of them out. Because I'd love to get a good projectile weapon other than the bows. Let's see. Pardon me. Part of me attempts to live minimalistically, including buying generic if possible, but soda is the one item where name brand is better. Oh yeah, I hate generic soda. Apparently you do get a magic wand if you kill one of them. Secret to whiz robes is headshotting them so the prancing faggot falls out of the sky. I know of one area where there's just one of them. I might try and take that fucker out. Because, yeah, they suck. Really, though, what I got to do is I got to just, like, plow through and do a bunch more of these shrines and get my hearts up. Like, I've unlocked so many fucking shrines. I've done so much fucking exploring, but I really haven't done any real objectives. Yeah, I got to get the hearts up in that game. Somebody says if it's an ice whiz robe, shoot them with a fire arrow, one shot, one kill. I don't think I've encountered any of the real ice ones. I've encountered the fire ones, and there's a bunch that have like green energy about them. I don't know what the fuck they're called. Fire whiz robe and ice arrows, the same outcome. Yeah, I'll have to get a hand. I think I'm out of ice arrows. I'll have to go find some more. Chris, do you still cook with the ginger peach sauce? I'd like to try it. I do, actually. Hang on a second. I'm sorry, folks. I got to blow my nose here. Let me mute the mic so I'm not. Okay, so, so yeah, I have used the ginger peach sauce. It's pretty good. Right now, I forget what it is. It's mango, not sriracha, but some other spicy pepper that starts with an S. I'd have to look at it off the top of my head because I don't think I've ever even seen. I don't think I've ever even heard this word pronounced or anything. But I got a good. I know it wasn't mango. It was pineapple. Pineapple like sriracha or not sriracha or something else. But it was this really sweet but really spicy sauce. I've been putting on a lot of chicken and stuff like that. Schedule's a little screwed up, so I haven't cooked as much as I'd like here recently this past week. But I do still cook a lot. And serrano pepper, that's what it was. I couldn't think of it. Serrano pepper, yes. It's pineapple serrano sauce. But yeah, really good stuff. There's out in King of Prussia Mall, which is about an hour from me. It's like one of the Philly suburbs, one of the more high end Philly suburbs. Still a really nice mall out there. There's a little store last time I was there that sells like nothing but all kinds of various different hot sauces. Really like gourmet kind of sauces. And that's where I got that pineapple serrano sauce. There was also peach serrano and a strawberry serrano. Wouldn't mind trying them. But they're really good. Actually, I put them on tacos. I put this on tacos one time. I took the pineapple serrano hot sauce and I actually mixed it in with sour cream and put that in a taco. Oh, that was so good. Because like with tacos, I like to do hard and soft shells because you get you get the crunchiness of the hard shell with the structural integrity of the soft shell. The thing's not falling apart on you. And for a while, I was doing like a thing of melted cheese in between the two of them, but that was kind of a pain in the ass on on prep. So I just started putting sour cream in between the two layers to kind of basically mortar between the bricks, as it were. And the one day I thought I'm going to mix the hot sauce in with it, the Serrano pineapple. It is so good. um, Somebody says I like refried beans and sour cream with it. I hate the refried bean stuff. That's the one thing in like Mexican food I can't stand. Um, Basically a double decker taco. Yeah, I guess. Uh, Tacos I like making, but that's something where you like it's almost even like too much for even like my dad and I to eat. I almost want to have like a buddy over or something because you end up like cooking with too much ground beef or something. It's hard to cook like small amounts of some food sometimes. Let's see. But yeah, I definitely want to do some more cooking with it. Something I saw, there's a Mexican restaurant in town, something Aztec. I don't know, Aztec Sunrise or who the fuck knows what it's called. Really, really nice Mexican restaurant though. And the one time I was there, I don't know what the hell the dish was called. Couldn't some Spanish name, but Pina Loca, I think it was called. It was basically like half of a pineapple, like hollowed out, and then in it is this like it's like steak and chicken and I think shrimp, and then like a whole bunch of veggies all tossed in this really good sauce. I don't even know what it was. And then there's this like spicy pineapple sauce like on top of it. Fucking amazing. Um, let's see. So he says a lot of recipes assume you're cooking for four. Yeah, that's kind of the problem when you're cooking for just one or two. Um, but yeah, I want to try making the pineapple thing at home. I don't know. That might end up being a huge mess. Who knows? But I think it should be easy enough to do. What else did I see the other day? I want to try making. Yeah, a couple other things. Do you use a crock pot / pressure cooker? I do not. I'm usually cooking on. I got a good sized skillet. I'm usually cooking on that, maybe on a pan. Sometimes I'm baking stuff in the oven, but even that, not all that often. In fact, I think the last time I actually used an oven was I like to make stuffed mushrooms a lot, like a portobello cap with like cheese and maybe chicken in it, but usually just like cheese, sun dried tomatoes, um, some spices, that kind of thing. That's usually a good thing to go with a meal. Those I actually put in the oven, but most stuff I just cook on a pan or something. Use a little bit of olive oil, sometimes grapeseed oil. I don't like using a vegetable oil. First of all, I know it's terrible for you, but also I just don't generally like it that much. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really use crock pots that much. But again, most of what I cook is generally going to be chicken. 9 times out of 10, I'm cooking chicken breast as for the meat of the meal. You know, if I'm not cooking chicken breast, then I'm usually cooking like hamburgers or steak. Like that's it. So I'm never like doing like a roast or anything like that. Um, yeah, it's usually just chicken breasts or hamburger or steak. That's that's 90%. That's basically all the food I like. I don't even like pork that much, so I almost never eat pork. Um, she says, "What about turkey? Not all that big on turkey. I could take or leave turkey. Chicken is great because when you're trying to be like experimental and mix things up, chicken is the perfect. Just cook yourself some chicken breast, right? That is the perfect foundation for a meal because you can make it into a million different things just depending on what kind of sauces you have. Barbecue sauce, different kinds of hot sauce. A little bit of the balsamic reduction and some cheese for more Italian thing. Chicken is a foundation you can build anything on. Yeah, that's basically right. I mean, steak. I don't get steak that often. I mean, obviously, it's a bit more expensive, but it's a once in a while thing that I like. For the most part, yeah. It's So he says same with shrimp. Yeah, shrimp's not as easy to cook as chicken. But yeah, shrimp and crab and lobster. I actually don't like fish that much. I'll eat a lot of kinds of fish, but it's never something you know, like if I'm at someone's house and they serve up, salmon or something, like okay, whatever. Um, but it's never something I'd order at a restaurant. It's never something I'd make for myself. But shellfish, I actually really like. Crab, lobster, shrimp. Hell, not shellfish exactly, but even calamari, I like a lot. Do you like ground turkey? Yeah, again, not really a big guy on turkey. Um, so he says pulled pork is great. Again, don't really care for pork. With pork, basically like a honey baked ham or like a pork sausage or hot dog. Basically, all I'll eat with pork. Actually, the one year I got it's for Christmas. I got it wasn't a honey baked ham. It was like that same kind of thing, but it was like apple caramel glazed ham. Oh, that was delightful. That was amazing. If there's any preferred fish, usually just plain white fish. To be honest, again, I'm not a big fish guy, so you know the least bold kind of fish flavor, I guess, is um. But yeah, generally it's like crab or lobster or something like that. I'd prefer. It says usually the person cooking matters more than the dish. Um, the Amish can fuck up a steak. That's true. Well, the Amish, I mean, they don't know what flavor is. Is simply the point. Um, I don't like. I've heard a lot of people as I was starting to cook be like, "Oh, that's a woman's work." Yeah, men are better cooks. I mean, think about it. How many female chefs are there? Really? Um, not a lot. See, women cook. It's like utilitarian, like they're feeding their family and stuff. And men cook. It's like an art form. You know what I mean? Like when I cook, I want every meal to be amazing if I can make it so. Like I want fancy kinds of sauces on shit. I want, I want something that's special, like every fucking time. And I know it's almost spoiled, but yeah. Um, yeah, I want a fucking delightful meal. I don't want just food that I'm shoving down my gullet. Bechtloff, the Gordon Ramsay of Pennsylvania. Again, I'm not really a good cook. I only really started here this past year, as I was living the neat lifestyle. It was something to try and better yourself. But yeah, and I don't have a very American palate. I like a lot of spicy things. I like, Mexican food. I like Mediterranean food. I don't like a lot of quote unquote American food. I don't like the country kitchen stuff at all. That stuff's all slop to me. Yeah, that stuff's all nasty. I can't stand it. Sometimes I'll go out to breakfast with my dad once in a while, which is not that common because I'm not a big breakfast guy in the first place. But he'll get like biscuits and gravy and that sort of country kitchen slop. And I'm just looking at it, it's like this looks like the kind of shit they serve orphans in a Charles Dickens novel. Like that doesn't look like real food to me. A country kitchen is just bland and heavy. It's not it's not flavorful. It's not yeah, ugh, I can't stand it. It's funny. A couple years ago, I went to an aunt's for Christmas, and I love her to death. I do. I love her to death. But she cooks up a lot of that country kitchen food, and she's not the best cook in the first place. So the one year, I was just kind of like, yeah, I had a lot of cookies and junk earlier. I'm just not hungry. I'm just not hungry. And then when we left there, it's like I went to Sheets and got myself a fucking chicken sandwich or something. It's like my Christmas dinner of a grilled chicken sandwich at Sheets. So he says Southern food, Cajun, and Texas barbecue are the best of America. Well, I agree 2 out of 3 there. Cajun food is fantastic. Texas barbecue is pretty good. Southern food, no, I don't care for it. Um, so he says fatty, greasy shit does not equal flavorful. I agree. Ugh. And then like Southerners will serve you fucking sweet tea with every meal, and it's just like sugar water. It's just ugh. I could take some sweet tea if I'm in the mood for it, but by and large, it's just fucking sugar water. So sickeningly sweet. What about New England shit? Clam chowder, crab cakes. Yeah, I'm not big on clam chowder. I don't particularly care for clams that much. Crab cakes, I can take or leave it. It depends on how exactly they're done. How they're spiced up or not. Um, so he says, I hate sweet tea. What the fuck is that supposed to be? Yeah, I don't get it either. It's like just like first of all, my fat ass like we're all drinking too much sugar water in the first place. Okay, like everything you drink other than water is basically sugar water, and you probably shouldn't be drinking it. All right, and we're all drinking way too fucking much of it. Let's be real. But if I'm out somewhere, like either bring me a Pepsi or failing that, a cherry Coke, because regular Coke tastes like shit. But a cherry Coke I can deal with. Or you know what, just bring me a water. No, I don't want you sweet tea. What's the best sweet tea in this? I don't know. I don't want to hear it. I don't want it. So he says Mississippi is the fattest state in the nation. A lot of that has to do with everything being deep fried. I wouldn't doubt that. He says, what about Dr. Pepper? I do like Dr. Pepper. And you can usually get Dr. Pepper at a place regardless of whether they do Coke or Pepsi because it's an independent thing. Yes, I do like me some Dr. Pepper. Um, Somebody says, "What about feminist food, veg yeast bread, and cum cocktails?" Those are real things. Yes, I know. Um, ugh, fuck is wrong with me? No love for soy products, Bechtloff. No, not really a big fan of soy products. Um, hell, I'm not even a big fan of like soy sauce, like in Asian food. But yeah, there's way too much soy in our diets. Um, Somebody says, "I loves me some mashed potatoes and French fries." Well, mashed potatoes is a lot different. Um, Mashed potatoes. Now, I don't like gravy. I'll be honest with you. I don't like gravy because again, that's that Southern cooking of where it's just heavy and yeah. I don't care for gravy. Mashed potatoes with like butter and sour cream or something. That's a whole different story. In fact, it's really great when you mix sour cream in with the mashed potatoes when you're making it. Oh, that's the tits. Maybe even just a drop or two of hot sauce as you're mixing up the mashed potatoes. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Um, how do you feel about bangers and mash? I don't know what that is. I really don't know what the hell you're talking about on that one. Bangers and mash? What is it? Yeah, I couldn't tell you there. Uh, well, I think I've gone on here long enough. This is just me rambling on about different kinds of food at this point. The fat guy hour. Uh, all right, folks. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank you all for listening. If you enjoy the podcast, enjoy the content I put out, check out the PayPal down below where you can send a one-time donation. Check out the Patreon where you can become a regular supporter. Both that's greatly appreciated. It helps me keep doing what I'm doing. And yeah, that's about all I got for this morning, folks. You have a good day with doing whatever it is you're doing today. And Bechtloff out.